Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing today? We are live. Ryan Newpel here, Knup Sports Show, episode 215. Hey, I'm attempting the live again. I know we did live back in the 100s, and then I went to uploading things, but we're back live. So if you have questions, if you have comments, we would love to engage with you a little bit. If you're watching this and you wanna talk to our amazing guest, or you have questions for us as we go through our discussion today, please feel free to engage. That's part of the fun of what we do here. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching this show and supporting this show. It's an amazing thing as it continues to grow. All right, we have an amazing guest today. I'm super excited to dive in and learn about what this gentleman is doing with his company. We're going to go ahead and waste no more time and bring him on. We have Jonathan Power of Voxbet. Jonathan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm really good, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
I'm super excited to dive in and hear, what you're up to, where you've come, what you're learning. As we talked about before, you've been learning a lot. But first off, how's everything? You're out in the UK, correct? Is that where you're at?
No, Ireland. A lot of people think it's the same, but not this side of the water. But
That
yeah,
shows
Ireland.
that shows how educated I am outside of the US, right?
Well, I actually meant outside of the UK, but anyway, it's
Well, I mean, me outside of the US, I'm not very educated. I've actually never been outside of the country besides Mexico, so that's a little tidbit. I need to get over to Europe and some of those countries and really.
you really do. Wait till summer. That's my tip.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, Jonathan, I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to dive into Voxbet. But first off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your career journey, and really let the audience kind of know kind of what brought you to where you are today.
Okay, well, I've always in the past described myself as somebody who's come from a banking technology background, a fintech background. I worked for James Martin and Associates, which became Texas Instruments Software. In a recent interview, it only occurred to me that I'm actually longer in the betting industry now than I ever was in the banking industry. So I should probably stop telling that. We started in the betting industry with a text betting platform way back in 2006, before the smartphone, which is quite important. Which would understand a bet that was written in a text message, and about 75% of the time would understand it fully and place it on behalf of the customer, send them back their confirmation. So that's still out there. There's still people who placed a bet for the 2006 World Cup still betting with us that way. But obviously the smartphone has created many more opportunities, but we decided a few years ago that if we can understand a bet that's been written, why can't we understand a bet that's been spoken? Which was a very simple idea when it was first articulated. It became quite tough actually to work out how to do it. It wasn't as simple as just using a Google or an Amazon engine to transcribe what somebody has said and then to put that through a text engine. We had to build everything new from the ground up, and how we've done that, we've patented, and we've spent the last 2 years solidly developing the product, and we're about to release something that we think people are going to think is really cool.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, you dove right into the product, and I'm excited to actually pull it up here and kind of show people, what Voxbet is, and I'd love for you to expand a little bit more. But your slogan and your motto that you're using everywhere is "Speak, Type, Bet." Very simple, very clear message that you're giving about your product. So, why don't you dive in a little deeper about what you're doing and how it kind of works?
Yeah. Okay. So what we're looking at doing is simplifying the process of getting a bet on, and we're trying to do that with two actually quite different audiences in mind. So what we've learned is that the place to put Voxbet is right inside the betting app.
Yeah.
Where you can wake up the mic, where you go, "Hey Voxbet," or "Hey FanDuel," or "Hey Dabble," whichever wake word is the technical term for that. Whichever wake word the operator would like to launch. So Alexa is a wake word, and Siri is a wake word. So people use them all the time already.
Sure.
And that when you come onto a betting site, if you are presented with an enormous amount of content. And we think there's two types of people that find that frustrating. One is who we call the one percenters. The one percenters 1% of an operator's business is typically responsible for around 50% of their revenue. So they bet a lot. Like some of our customers on our text betting platform, they bet 160 times per month on average. That's pretty prolific. And if you have to dig out the bet the same way as somebody who doesn't really know what they want to bet on, wants to have a look around, and maybe might bet 2 or 3 times a month, that's a pretty poor service.
Yeah.
We think those people who just want to get on your site, get their business done and get off, and if you can appeal to those 1%ers, you don't need to win many of them to have a very significant effect on your bottom line. And the other side of the demographic we're aiming for are the people beyond the boomers and the Gen Xers. I'm a Gen Xer myself. We learned how to use the interfaces that are there. We didn't have a choice. But the Gen Zs and millennials won't be inclined to do that, or be less inclined to do that, and they need something that is more in tune with how they use Spotify, how they use TikTok, how to use everything else, how they even use WhatsApp. A lot of those people are too lazy to type a message now. They have to send you a voice message. So we can moan about those people, or we can give them what they're used to. And we think we're very much aimed. We're nicely tuned to give those people what they need.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's kind of the next progression of betting, right? I mean, everything is going to voice, everything's going to AI, everything's kind of progressing. Why hasn't making a sports bet progressed? And I think, that's where you guys are innovating and really creating something that the next generation, I think, is gonna see as normal. What would you say to those people though that think it's too hard, or that actually are like, oh man, what if it screws up and actually makes a bet that I didn't say or something? I'm sure there's going to be this audience of people that think, man, that just seems like a lot can go wrong there. Like, how do you guys address that challenge or that concern that people might have?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it goes right back to how we started with text betting. Because with text betting, when you're sending texts, they can be, at the time they were quite expensive. So you had to fully understand what somebody said in their first attempt.
Yeah.
And if you didn't fully understand it with 100% certainty, we had to go to an agent and ask an agent to say, look, can you make sure this is right before we execute? Because we can't get this wrong, because we break trust. And at the time, we were trying to compete with call center staff and make them more productive. So it was very obvious. The commercial drivers were very clear anyway, because 75% of them will go straight through. So what we're doing with Voxbet is fundamentally different. Is we show you what we think you said, and we give you an easy way of changing it. So we do not place any bet. It makes it a much simpler integration for the operator that we don't place the bet. The user decides, yeah, that's what I asked for. I want to, I'll delete that. I'll add something else, but it's always must be confirmed by the user.
I love that. Yeah, that makes total sense. Let's talk a little bit about the integration. Well, first I want to talk a little bit about the partners that you're working with. So I'm assuming you're working with some sports books and operators currently. Can you talk anything about some partners that you currently have or are working with?
Yeah, frustratingly, we can't name any of the. We're working on we had the horse racing product ready about 6 months ago, and we have a few horse racing brands we're working with. What's always been the frustration in the B2B, in the sportsbook industry for us as a B2B provider, is you don't get to say anything about anybody until they've launched it first. So
yeah, it's all
and we're in the same boat, but we have some really good partners, not just on the operator side, but on the affiliate side. Because we've found we've found a really interesting angle with affiliates that is really appealing to them. So they will be out there soon. So and we're about to launch something on the bet builder side, what you call in-game parlay, we call bet builders, that we think is a real game changer, and we think there'll be a lot of people talking to us about that.
Are you able to expand at all on what you just commented there about the affiliate side? Because I think a lot of this audience and a lot of people that probably relate to me and our show and what we do are probably affiliates or affiliate companies that are trying to make their way in that space. Is there anything more you can say about how this? I'm trying to connect the dots in my brain about how this would work with affiliates, or is that to come?
No, I will talk about that, because I'm really keen to get that message out there to affiliates. So What your typical affiliate site has is some content surrounded by lots of ads. And that's quite a difficult experience. If they trust their content inspires a bet. And when you can navigate a whole sports book by just saying what you want, or typing what you want, by the way, we always talk about speaking it, but we shouldn't forget that there's a whole generation out there who like discretion, who might prefer typing it, and there's another generation that don't give a hoot about discretion, and they're quite happy they don't care who hears them. But if you can do that with something as simple as a widget that you can drop in your site, whether it's a wake word in an app or whether it's a microphone on your page, it doesn't matter to us. You can let your content do the heavy lifting. Your content inspires a bet. So what you could do, let's take the wake word example, and let's say you could be reading content and this affiliate will allow you to bet into any of Fanatics, MGM, FanDuel, etc., Caesars, whatever, and you can go, hey, FanDuel, and then you speak your bet, and now you get a deep link directly into the FanDuel site to complete your bet. So what that allows, that gives the user a much better experience, gives them a much cleaner view of content, but it allows the affiliate to focus on what they're really good at, which is to inspire the bet by giving good content and let the content do the work. So what the tagline we have, so that we're calling that our media mic. So that really is our bet mic, but implemented in an affiliate site. And what we're really saying is their content inspires betting, keep it clean. And what we mean by clean is get the clutter out of it.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's going to be an amazing way for affiliates to kind of address that challenge of converting people easier. I mean, that's always a challenge with affiliates, right? They do a great job of the content, but then nobody clicks on those links. But I think something like that could be an interesting innovation that they can add that could, like you said, inspire more bets and things of that nature.
Yeah, and there's two parts of that really. I think people have become quite an expert at hopscotching their way through a site that's littered with ads, where they don't even see the ads. They just find their way through it, and they don't even. You ask them after the visit to the page what ads were on it. They said, I don't know. But the other is that it's a revenue stream for them, because if they have eyeballs, which the good ones do, of course, they can charge to make the sportsbook accessible. So if you want to be able to say, hey, FanDuel, well, that's a product. That's a really valuable product that you have embedded into your site. That's very valuable functionality that you should be able to charge straight out for. So what you're saying is, we've got great content, we've got loads of eyeballs, and we can make your site accessible from here without you having to put an ad on it. Well, it's not about displacing ad income. It's about increasing it, but also increasing the space you can have for content.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Innovation. I love innovation in any space, especially in the sports betting space. How do you get operators? Because I'm assuming, you need the operators to be on board with this, right? You need them to kind of be on board and trust this. I'm assuming that's kind of a challenge. How do you convince them that this is a good idea? And I'm assuming you're going down that path now and trying to go down that path, but are you seeing any pushback to change and innovation like that, or is it easier than I'm imagining?
No, it is hard.
Yeah.
It's and it certainly isn't the case that operators aren't interested in innovation. They're always interested in innovation. Yes. It's about what they can cut through on their roadmap.
Yeah.
So one of our non-execs told us that when he was running one of the big sportsbook brands, they had a 2-day workshop where they considered, I think, 96 projects for the roadmap for the next year. 4 got on and 3 were compliance projects. So so they're dealing with. So as the innovator, you can think, oh, why aren't you just innovating all the time? But if you understand their challenges are a lot to do around compliance, and it is difficult for them to get things over the line. So that is the headwind we face. And I think part of that headwind is on innovation. You can look at the sports betting industry and criticize the slow innovation. Like in my time in the industry, I can think of in-play betting was an innovation.
Yep.
Cash out was an innovation,
Mhm.
and same game parlay is an innovation, or bet builders we call them here. And within a few months of someone proving it, everybody had it.
Yeah.
So if that's what innovation means to you, is that, yeah, we can be first, like Sky Bet were first with Request a Bet. I don't know if that might give them industry kudos. I don't know if it means anything when it actually comes to their financials. So I can understand that. So yes, we get Voxbet into an operator, then every operator wants it. That's plan A for us. But we also have to be mindful of, well, that might not work for the operator so well, because everybody having it within a few months means that I need it for longer to get competitive advantage.
Totally makes sense. So what markets or global areas are you targeting, or are you looking at? I'm here in the United States. I focus a lot of my efforts and kind of my attention on the sports betting market here in the US. First, what markets are you looking at? And then secondly, are you diving into the US, and how complex has that been, going through the US side of things?
Okay. So the market we're looking at is the English speaking market to begin with. We're not restricted to the English speaking market, but we want to nail that one first. Because the product is what we've put together works really, really well in English. It's very quick, and it's very accurate.
Cool.
So on English, what we have started with, and for two reasons, we've started with football, which football for you and football for me mean two completely different sports. So I'll use your term and say soccer.
Okay.
We've started with soccer because in the UK, pretty much everywhere, that's the number one sport, except in the US. And it's very complex. There are several 100,000 footballers. There are thousands of football teams.
Yeah.
So we will fix problems in that we won't hit when we do NFL, NBA, etc. Because I would think maybe north of 90% of betting volume on NFL on American football is on NFL, probably more than that. I know that college football is important, but it's a much smaller, very high volume on a much smaller set of players, much smaller set of teams.
Sure.
So we're not expecting any problems when we go to adapt this for the US market, but we do want to find the partner to do that with.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Jonathan Power of Voxbet, doing some amazing things, Jonathan. I love what I love what your product does and what your mission is. So tell us a little bit about where it's at and what the future looks like. Like I guess the roadmap of the product life cycle. Where are you at in this journey? And then where does that future lead you to?
Okay, so where we're at right now is we have a bet mic which allows you to speak straight to the bet slip. So you've arrived on the site, you want your bet, you say your bet. We have that working in horse racing, and we've been working in football now. The next thing we're going to release is going to be a bet builder mic. Bet builder is a little bit different, or same game parlay, is because some of the things in a bet builder you're committed to. So you'll say Mo Salah to score, Liverpool to win, both teams to score. There might be three things you're committed to, but you're not really sure about where you want to go with cards and corners. So where if we said a bet builder had to be spoken straight to the bet slip, all five legs, that's a bit of a mouthful, and it's a lot of decisions to make up front. But if you said, when you go to do a bet builder, you're presented with so many things, and 90% of them I never bet on.
Yeah.
So if I could say Liverpool to win, Mo Salah to score, both teams to score, cards, corners, yellow cards, or cards and corners. So I'm going to make my bet builder out of those things.
Yes.
I always do, and that actually is one. It's one I would. So there's the three things I'm committed to. Is that Mo Salah's going to score, Liverpool are going to win, both teams are going to score because they never keep a clean sheet. But I'm going to nudge up my price by playing around with the number of cards and the number of corners.
Yeah.
So what you give is we give you back a mini coupon, and you hit the plus and minus buttons till you see the price you want. It says, I'll go with that. That's the right balance of price and what I think is going to happen. And then you go to the bet slip. So the bet builder mic introduced a level of complexity that we didn't expect when we started, because we started out with that thinking, just speak your bet, go straight to the bet slip. It needs to do more. And And then we have what we're following that with what we call a nav mic, which is just for the simple things. I'm on the home page. I want to know what's the price of, I don't know, what's the market for the next US president.
Sure.
If there's rugby on, what's the price of the next rugby match? If it's not on the home page, it's hard to find. You've a lot of horizontal and vertical scrolling to do to find it. No, so we just say, show me next US president. Show me Super Bowl outright.
Yeah,
who's going to win the Super Bowl? I just want to have a bet on that, or I just want to see the prices for it. So we think that's a very simple utility that would really improve the sportsbook experience. And then we have what we're calling our media mic, which is more or less what I've just described, but implemented on affiliate sites. So that's the set that we're working with.
You got a lot going on, my friend. That sounds like an amazing vision, and I think it's really needed in the space. So I'm super excited to see where that leads. If somebody wanted to work with you, and I know you guys are B2B, you're looking at all sorts of buckets of companies that may want to work with you, or at least inquire more about what you're up to. What's the best way of getting a hold of you? Where can they learn more? Just some of the URLs that we can put in the show notes to lead people to.
Well, there's the website, voxbet.com. There's myself on LinkedIn. It would be a good way of getting a hold of me, or jpower@voxbet.com. It's not just operators we're looking to talk to. We're looking to talk to the platform providers.
Yep.
And we're also, as I said, very interested in talking to affiliates.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Any last words? Anything that I may have missed? I know we could talk for probably hours here, but for sake of time, I'm gonna get this going. But anything we missed? Any last words that you wanted to make sure that we communicated here today?
No, I think the point I'd like to emphasize is that everything in betting is a numbers game, and if 1% of your business is coming from, if 50% of your business is coming from 1% of your customers, the gearing in offering something that really makes their life easier could have quite a profound bottom line impact. And I think that's something people need to think about.
100% great advice, Jonathan Power. Really appreciate you being here, my friend. Man, we are speaking bets. We're typing bets. Before long, we're just going to be thinking and we're going to be making a bet, right? Like, is that the next innovation? Like, oh, I just thought about it. Oh, my bet's placed.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave that one for the next innovator. We'll stick with speaking and typing.
Crazy. Well, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. And good luck with everything you're doing heading into the future.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. It's great talking to you.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right. That was Jonathan Power of Voxbet. Amazing technology, amazing innovation that we're going to start seeing a lot more of here over in the coming years. I'm excited to see where that leads. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Again, we went live. I know several of you popped on and popped off. This will be up, and there will be a full show notes with it as well, so you can go back and watch it on record. Please, if you have any guests that you'd like to see on this show, shoot them my way. I'm Ryan Nupel. You can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter or any of the socials. KNUP typically is the handle that you can find me at. All right, that's it for today. Until next time, stay safe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.